Now, you know what's really cool? They said to me, Jeff, we have a dream for someday to be in the Olympics, but we need your help to come and instruct our young people so that we will produce from Israel, aside from even American Jews, the ability to have Israelis play on national teams, etc. So they developed a national team program. And I was going in the late 1990s and doing instruction with a guy named Marty Clary, who pitched with the Atlanta Braves, with Tom Clavin and Smoltzy and those guys. But years later, I said to Brian, Israel's ready for you. We need, at the Wingate Institute, to do a bachelor and master program in baseball curriculum. Well, I don't mean in any way to seem like I would take credit, because I give all the credit to Peter and the guys in Israel. We just have a little part. But guess what just happened a few weeks ago? Israel made the Olympics.
Yeah!
So Google Israel Olympics and you'll hear the whole story. And they even made a movie. And the guy who made the movie, I live in Rockland County, New York, and I live right next to a city called White Plains. And I went to see the movie, and they had all the places where Brian and I did instruction. I was like crying inside, because a country of what, 6-7 million Jews is in the Olympics, and a couple years ago, and so one other place that Brian and I work in, which is a baseball country, is Cuba. And so in the world, Cuba. Now I'm friends with all the Cubans, and I connected with their major league teams, and they said, you must have really been torn, you know, when Israel played Cuba. I said, torn? You gotta be joking. I said I wanted Israel to beat their, okay, I won't say that word. But they did, and so when all my friends in Cuba saw me and they knew that happened, it's like, Sigs, what do you think? I just smiled, I didn't need to say anything. So, well, one of the other places that's special for us is the Dominican Republic. And there's a partnership ministry called Score International, and they own a hotel. They own these like major league facilities, and we may play a few games there, but that's not where the action is. The action is playing village teams. You play village teams, we bring them like food, we pass out food, we play a little soccer with them, you know, frisbee, etc. But then when you play the game in the afternoon, there is a literal bullpen where a bull could be chasing you in the outfield. And you're dodging chickens and donkeys. Yeah, guys, it's totally cool. And those village teams, you better bring your A game or they'll kick your butt. So we'll see how good you are. It's a lot of fun. And then you get to do clinics and share your faith and have just a wonderful opportunity. So here's what's really cool. In high season, in an ideal week, when I thought that everything would be booked up, a miracle happened for you guys. I reserved space for 60 people in the Score Hotel 1.5 blocks from the beach. Could you handle that? And we already have a schedule in place, and I reserved for you guys right off the bat 45 plane tickets for you guys and parents who want to come non-stop on Delta. So we got the best of the best, and it's June 29 through July 6. So a nice time frame, and you'll play a series of games, sometimes double headers. You'll visit orphanages, you will visit villages. We will either go to Jumbo or, with the help of Score, put bags of groceries together, and we'll go and give it to families who, you know, may not be having adequate nutrition, be able to share our faith with them. Then in the afternoon, play games. You could be dodging cows, or when you go to the bullpen to pitch, you'll be dodging cows and chickens and things like this. Schedules. And there's going to be deadlines to get especially your first deposit in. The first 45 young people and parents are in. I might be able to get more tickets, but when we do that at another time, the tickets could be much higher. And I might not be able to get them on the same plane or whatever, so I encourage you, get the word out to your folks, whatever. I think I'm not going to go over the schedule because it's very self-explanatory, the kinds of things that we're going to do. And Kirk and Amy have put an administrative team together. And what that means is, and I think I said on here, let me go to the last page kind of thing. Here we go. So I've said I would like the first deposits to come in, and Kirk, I'm going to send you this. I'm going to send you what's called 10 pieces of information. I will need information as it is on your passport. If you don't have a passport yet, get it yesterday. You will need your birth certificate, go with your mom or dad. There's usually a post office that does this kind of thing, and since we're getting the word out so early, you don't have to expedite it. But if you do it now, within 2 months, you'll have a brand new passport if you don't have one. And when I ask for the 10 pieces of information, you don't have to have your passport yet, but I need your name as it is on your birth certificate, because when they do your passport, they will do your name as it is on your birth certificate, okay? And then whatever information is lacking, well, if you address your passport now, you will have even your passport long before February 1, okay? What I'm telling you is don't drag, because it's very important. You're going to want your passport for the future for travel, because once you've gone to a place like DR, you're going to want to do it again and again. I'm telling you that it's so much.
How many guys already have their passport? Raise your hand. Okay.
Okay. Okay. And it'll be a great experience. Now, there's another gentleman who's part of Global Sports. His name's Coach Murdock. He was in charge of a team called the FCA Power, Fellowship of Christian Athletes Power Team. And they have a league, and every year is kind of a graduation. 14 through 17 years old, we would bring them to countries like Brazil to play against Japanese teams. Hey, maybe if you have fun in Dominican Republic, maybe we all then go visit Brazil and play in Brazil in a series of cities and maybe instructional kind of things. So there's going to be a lot more opportunities to get your passport. And I'm basically saying, and I'll send it to Kirk, I'm going to need information so that when I go to purchase the tickets, they need the name exactly as it is on your passport. That's why I need you to get that. But if you should get the information in before you have your passport, do it as it is on your birth certificate. So I'm saying, now Kirk may work with you guys to help you maybe develop fundraising letters. The checks can be made, since we're a nonprofit, and people who know that you're involved with a nonprofit, they will be more apt to write checks to a nonprofit versus a for-profit. But with the administrative team, I will need a spreadsheet for each individual who's going with all their information, and then I will need in 3 columns, payment 1, payment 2, payment 3, and then somebody to organize the checks for each person, and then to send them to Global. Am I making sense? On certain cutoff dates. If somebody's running behind, I'm not making a phone call to anybody. You guys will work that through, and you can work. Let's say that somebody raises money and they raise a little extra, and somebody has a little less. That could be a possibility. But here's what's really cool. And Kirk, I'll send you a fundraising letter that instead of it saying Dear Kirk Doyle, Dear so-and-so from Kirk Doyle, everyone inserts their name. Maybe you have a day soon where you get together with everyone who says I'm in, and they bring the name of all the people, family, friends, people at church, and they write this letter, and you stuff envelopes, and inside of that envelope, there's a little envelope with a stamp. Now, hypothetical number. Let's say the trip is costing $2,100. So let's say you raise $1,600 of it. It's a whole lot better for your parents to only write a check in the end for $500 than $1,600. If you raise all $2,100, now you send it to family members, you send it to friends, whatever, you're going to be surprised. Here's what's really in our favor. We've got time on our side. If you have time and you can make phone calls and you can send letters, I have rarely seen a person not raise their money. But the worst case scenario is if you raise half, then your parents don't have to. Any questions? Kirk, Amy, Brian, anybody?
All right, so Jeff, can you talk a little bit about the orphanage and some of the places that we'll be going serving?
Yeah. What is the first baseman's name on the California Angels? He's hit 600 and some homers.
Parker.
Pujols.
Yeah.
Well, there's an orphanage in a city called Boca Chica, and I know that Pujols has raised a lot of money for that particular orphanage. Very good organized orphanage, and we will take our group probably at least for a half a day over there, and maybe like in some second bags or in part of your bag or carry-on bag, you'll bring some jump ropes, some chalk, some barrettes, some things for girls and boys, maybe some deflated soccer balls. We'll go over there and hang out with them the whole day. And also, like when we bring food for the village, we will bring food for the orphanage. And we'll do some really nice things for them. And I'll contact my friends at SCORE and say, hey, maybe we'll go to a couple different orphanages. Maybe a girls' orphanage, maybe a boys' orphanage. The village, that's different, but a lot of the same things. We are working with less fortunate people. Hey, they didn't ask not to have parents. You guys have parents, you've been blessed. So we're gonna take a little bit of what we've been blessed with and we're gonna help them. Because someday in the future, you may hear about one of the guys or one of the girls who comes out of an orphanage to become a doctor. And you had something to do with that. Wouldn't that be cool to help them to have a better life, right? So that's what the orphanage will be about.
All right, another question that we get a lot at these trips is what kind of food, is there stuff that we need to stay away from, drinking the water, all that kind of stuff, safety, more issues.
Very, very good question.
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna stay at the SCORE Hotel facility, which is in the city outside, about a half hour from Santo Domingo. It's called Wandolio. Feel free to get on a map and start looking at these things. SCORE, friends of Global, work partnered together. They bought a hotel and they remodeled it. So we're gonna stay in rooms, kind of dorm style. The food at SCORE is excellent. Obviously, to be a good ministry, the cooks there do everything in such a way that you'll never get sick from that food. It'll be chicken, beans and rice, salad, breakfast stuff. Now, I am gonna send to Kirk and encourage you to bring a few things. More breakfast items, your favorite cereal, maybe some packets of like oatmeal that you like that you could add hot water, just supplemental stuff. And during the course of the day, like beef jerky, because you guys are playing ball, you may want to have some solid protein, a little bit more solid protein than beans and rice. It's not so much that you have to do that. I'm just recommending some of your favorite cereals, some of these things that you do that. The water. Any of the water, anything that you drink at SCORE is fine. And if we should go like to the other side of Santo Domingo and we're not returning for lunch, they will give you bag lunches and they will give you cartons of water. So when we're in a strange place, you don't want to drink the water in Dominican Republic or Cuba, okay? But there's always gonna be enough bottled water and we're only gonna eat at the SCORE facilities, etc., that you'll never have an issue with that, okay? Let's start with this. Look guys, when you're here, and I know that you do things from a Christian perspective, but in America, and you're in these programs, maybe somebody doesn't get to bat as much because there's a little bit more competition, but I know Kirk's heart. We are going to be in enough games, everyone's going to play, and nobody's going to play like 9/10 of the time where somebody barely sees any action. This is going to be an experience, everyone gets to play. You're going to be playing till it comes out of your ears. You're going to want to make sure you have plenty of pitchers, whatever. You're going to have so much fun. You may even have more fun than me and Kirk, I don't know. But I don't want anyone to think, hey, we're gonna spend all this money, hey Kirk, am I ever gonna get in the game? You're gonna be in the game and then some, because we want you to I want you to hear my heart on this. I want you to be able to go through baseball, into into Dominican Republic, and see God at work in your life. Yeah, you may at night get on the internet, but you're gonna have your cell phones in your room. It's all gonna be about Jesus and about baseball and about sharing your faith. And you may become a doctor someday, but because of what you saw in Dominican, you're gonna say, hey, I can be a doctor for Jesus too. In other words, you'll make a good living someday. You'll be taken care of, but you're gonna think, there's people somewhere who speak Spanish or speak Hebrew, or you know what? You know where I go sometimes? I go into cities like Bethlehem. We're helping the Palestinians, and we're using soccer, basketball, whatever, because we want to help people who don't have as much as us. And so even in America, you become a doctor, you become a soldier, whatever, can you be a doctor for Jesus? A doctor for Yeshua HaMashiach. And I want you to catch a vision in another place that you see that people they have the same issues and same problems as us, but we have more toys. And there's cultures that this is what I call a broken culture. We're gonna have what we need, you know, you're not gonna be walking around broken, but you're gonna see things that when you come home, you're gonna be talking with Kurt and your parents for the rest of your life, what you saw, and your hearts. You guys, some of you guys are kind of macho, you'll probably be crying on this trip. You go, oh my gosh, I can't imagine people living like this, that I have to bring them food because they didn't have enough.
Let me ask, if you have a pair of sneakers, pair of shoes that you really don't wear, bring them, because they don't have shoes. You got a smaller glove, smaller bat, you don't use it. Bring them. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. If you don't bring them, you're going to leave what you got on. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Because your heart's going to be so touched. You're going to leave what you got. And it will literally change everybody's life here.